What's going on? Welcome in the Matt Bernier Show on DRFTV. My name is Matt Bernier. You can follow me on Twitter at Bernier_Matt. This is the recap edition. Going to go back, take a look at a couple of graded stakes races from this past weekend, the weekend of June the 22nd. We'll kick things off with the Ohio Derby from Thistledown. We'll take a look at the lone grade one of the weekend, the United Nations from Monmouth Park, and then we'll rip through a bit of a stakes montage. We'll keep this recap edition relatively tight. I don't want to go too long into many of these because I don't know how much there is to really dissect about these races, but we will go through those two big races and go on from there. As always, wrap up with the weekend's best as far as buyers are concerned. However you listen to this thing, thank you for doing so. YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, video.drf.com, as well as Spotify. However you listen, please rate, review, and subscribe. Questions, comments, concerns, beneath the video player on YouTube or directly to me on Twitter at Bernier_Matt. As I said in last week's preview pod, please, I would like questions, comments, anything. It doesn't matter if it's about these races, more broad topics, whatever it may be. Let me know, because this coming week in the preview pod, I'd like it to be more of a little bit of a Q&A, hearing some of the things that you guys agree, disagree with, just thoughts in general. And I'll go through and cherry pick certain things and touch on certain instances. This probably would be a better time to assess the whole Santa Anita thing and everything that went on with Jerry Hollendorfer. I'm going to wait and do that in the preview pod, just because, again, this week leading up, if you didn't listen to the preview pod, I'm rolling solo all week, so there will be no Illman or beer. So there's going to be a number of things. I don't want to just keep rehashing the same things in the preview pod that I'm going to go over with out of the gate and all the stakes previews. So I figured this is a good week for a little bit of viewer-listener sort of interaction. And again, one of the questions I had beneath the YouTube player from the preview pod was related to Santa Anita. Now that that meeting is closed and the whole Hollendorfer bombshell, that whole thing, I feel like Thursday's pod is probably a good time to touch on that, not here in the recap show. So I'll go over that, and please, anything else that you have, doesn't matter what it is, not saying I'm going to answer all of them or assess all of them, but just fire away. You know the drill. Either on Twitter to me at Bernier_Matt or beneath the YouTube player. Let's get right into it. We'll first start off with the 3-year-old race, the big marquee 3-year-old race of the weekend, the Grade 3 Ohio Derby. Let's take a look at the field. Only 6 of them, unfortunately, with the scratch of Global Campaign. Left Owendale for Brad Cox as a prohibitive favorite. For Florent Giroux with the mount here. Ultimately went off at odds of 3-5. I think he had to work a little bit harder than maybe you would have expected a 3-5 shot to, but that doesn't mean that he didn't run well. I think that's more a credit to the runner-up. Let's take a look at the stretch run of the Ohio Derby.
It's Math Wizard in front. Owendale gets a dream trip through on the inside. Long range Toddy outside. Math Wizard 1 furlong to go. Owendale right alongside. Owendale on the rail. Math Wizard outside. These two now in the Ohio Derby. Owendale inside. Math Wizard outside. Owendale takes the lead. And Owendale wins the Ohio Derby. Game effort from Math Wizard. Long range Toddy was 3rd. And Bethlehem Road finished 4th.
Owendale gets the job done again at odds of 3-5 as your overwhelming favorite. Only by a half length though. Math Wizard runs a giant race at odds of 5-1, and he looked like a legitimate racehorse doing it. This is a horse that continues to improve. Maybe one you want to keep an eye on going forward. Long Range Toddy a long way back, finishing in 3rd at odds of 2-1 as your second choice. More than 10 lengths behind the top 2 finishers. Let's take a look at Owendale a little bit more. 4 of 10 lifetime, 7 times in the money from 10 lifetime starts, over $668,000 in career earnings, owned by Rupp Racing, trained by Brad Cox, bred by Stone Street Thoroughbred Holdings, LLC in Kentucky, ridden to victory by Florent Giroux. You can see the pedigree at the bottom of the horse card. He is by Into Mischief and of a Bernardini mare named Aspen Light. The figures came back strong for this race. 99 Beyer speed figure for Owendale, 114 pace adjusted and non-pace adjusted Timeform US ratings. Really big figures no matter how you want to chop it up. A little bit of an interesting dynamic when you look and see how this race was run and how Timeform US assessed some of the pace situations. The 3/4 and the mile call were both color-coded blue, but when you take a look at the chart, you see that the top 2 finishers came from last and second to last throughout the first half of the race. And I think a lot of that had to do with the early fractions maybe took their toll. So maybe those middle to late fractions, they may have been on the slow side as Timeform US is stating. But I think the damage was done in the early portion of the race where you had horses like Dare Day and Bethlehem Road and Going for Gold out there. And Long Range Toddy was relatively close, about 4 or 5 pads out in the clear. The 22-3, 47-3, say what you will about 47-3 for a half. not blistering, but after a 22 and a piece opening quarter, I think you're going to start to feel the effects of that. And keep in mind, a lot of those horses were stretch out sprinters. So I wonder if things did sort of play into the advantage of a horse like Owendale as well as Math Wizard, but you can't take anything away from the way that they ran. I like how both of them moved in this spot. Math Wizard, a 98 buyer and a 122 time pace adjusted time form US rating, 123 raw. These were two big efforts from these two horses. Now Owendale, perhaps you want to look at it and say, okay, well, comes from a little bit more high-profile connections. Not that Saffie Joseph Jr. is not a good trainer, but we know him predominantly from South Florida, Gulfstream Park, those sort of situations. Now it looks like they've got a nice 3-year-old on their hands. If he continues to improve this way, maybe he becomes a player in these races over the summer. But I think that, for me, is really the takeaway from this race. I said it leading into the Ohio Derby. I said it talking about the Breeders' Cup Classic top 10 ranking that I do every week, and that there's a poll that a number of people are polled on. These 3-year-olds, it feels like it's a very muddy picture. And sure, this was a relatively formful result, and maybe this is going to be the beginning of something for Owendale. Maybe he's going to be the horse that sort of, I don't want to say takes control, but at least you can count on to show up with his effort, because really, with the exception of that one race down at the fairgrounds, he hasn't done anything wrong. He went out there, very impressive in the Lexington, ran a really nice race in the Preakness, comes back here and wins this race. You would imagine, based on the timing, you're going to be looking at possibly a Saratoga campaign. I suppose you could try the Haskell. I'd be very interested to see how much time they want to give him. Because again, those dates, those races it's going to be pretty nice. About a 4 to 5 week stretch between the Ohio Derby and those two races. So I'll be fascinated to see where Cox decides to go with this horse. The distance, whenever I see Into Mischief, I don't know that I love the idea of going much, much longer. But he ran fine at a mile and 3/16. I don't see why he wouldn't run well. Certainly he'll run fine at a mile and an eighth. We know that. Maybe he'll run fine at a mile and a quarter as well if you're thinking Travers down the road. Or keep in mind, too, we're at a point in time where I think it's going to be very interesting as more and more time goes by. We've already seen the effect of it, but with the Pennsylvania Derby being a grade 1, it's restricted to 3-year-olds, and it's 9 furlongs. I do think you're going to get those connections. As prestigious a race as the Travers is, you're going to get some of those really nice horses that if the connections are not sold on 10 furlongs for them, they'll just sit it out, I think, and wait one more month. It's an instance where, is it ideal to have 2 months leading into your next race? No, but at the same time, I think if there's real distance concerns for some of these horses and these connections, they're probably better off waiting. Look, both of them are 7-figure purses, and they're both grade 1s. And maybe you'll see some of these connections. I'm not suggesting that's going to happen here with any of these, but I think you're going to get to a point where, the Travers, as much as I love it, as much as we all love it, maybe the connections will look at it and say, maybe we'll be better off running in a race like the Pennsylvania Derby at 9 furlongs before we have to stretch them back out if we're thinking bigger down the road, the Breeders' Cup Classic. So good effort from Owendale, followed Math Wizard, who was the first one to make that real move. But again, I feel like they both took advantage, perhaps, of the circumstances. Owendale finishes in 12:02, Math Wizard in 12:13. Long way back to Long Range Toddy. He was wide, but I thought this was a little bit of a flat effort from him. And those last 3 horses, they were all sort of overmatched coming into it. Bethlehem Road was mildly intriguing as sort of the fresh face, but he was relatively close to that pace, and he paid the price. So a formful result for the most part at Thistledown on Saturday afternoon. And it'll be very interesting to see where we go forward with a horse like Owendale, with a horse like Math Wizard, as well as Long Range Toddy, because I don't want to totally give up on a horse like this just yet. On his best day, he can fire a big shot. So we'll see where all of these horses end up going forward. What we do know right now, Owendale, another graded stakes win. Maybe he is coming into his own for Brad Cox, and maybe he is going to be that interesting sort of, I don't want to call him a fresh face because he's already running a Triple Crown race, but maybe he'll be that newer face, that maybe a little bit more late developing kind of horse that will take over as we go through these summer races. Big numbers. Owendale, 99 buyer, 124. Timeform US rating, winning this year's Ohio Derby. The lone grade 1 of the weekend, the United Nations down at Monmouth Park, 1 mile and 3/8 on grass. Let's take a look at the field. 8 of them signed on. Post-time favorite was Channel Cat for Todd Pletcher, bet down to odds of 9-5. This is a nice horse. He is a lightly raced 4-year-old. He did some good things as a 3-year-old, but he always felt like one that wanted more ground, and he'd just stay any distance that you threw at him. The question really always boiled down to talent. Was he quite as good as some of those other horses that could stay just as well as he could? In a race like this, though, he stacked up quite favorably. And that's including Chad Brown having a horse. It's including Bill Mott having a horse, including Mike Maker having 2 horses in here. None of them got the money. The big money went to Jimmy Toner. Here's the stretch run with Hunter O'Reilly.
Across the track as they come into the stretch. Just in behind them trying to get going is Ketcho and Die. Hunter O'Reilly, bigger picture let loose on the outside as Zulu Alpha hits the front. Channel Cat on the outside. Here's Hunter O'Reilly down the center of the track. Zulu Alpha, Hunter O'Reilly, Channel Cat, Zulu Alpha, Hunter O'Reilly reaching on the outside. Here's the wire, Hunter O'Reilly. And Paco got up to win the United Nations.
Hunter O'Reilly gets the job done at odds of 14-1 with Paco aboard. Finishing second, Zulu Alpha, 1 of 2 in here for Mike Maker. And rounding out your trifecta is the beaten favorite Channel Cat at odds of 9-5. Let's take a look at Hunter O'Reilly, 5 of 22 lifetime, 6 other times in the money, over $620,000 in career earnings, owned by Sean Shea and Michael J. Ryan, trained by Jimmy Toner, bred by Mike G. Rutherford in Kentucky, ridden to victory by Paco Lopez. And the pedigree at the bottom of the horse card. He's by Tis Wonderful out of a Bernardini mare named Oblige. 99 Beyer speed figures for each of the top 2 finishers here. Hunter O'Reilly and Zulu Alpha. From a Timeform US perspective, 123 pace adjusted for Hunter O'Reilly, 120 raw, 121 pace adjusted for Zulu Alpha and Channel Cat, 120 raw for Zulu Alpha, 119 raw for Channel Cat. Look, this all around nice effort from Hunter O'Reilly. Seemed like, look, this is the kind of horse that he did some good things up at Saratoga last year. Felt like it kind of came out of nowhere. He's always a horse that lives in that 10 to 15-1 range. And for one reason or another, he's had a number of races that have just been kind of subpar recently. Didn't really have a ton of pace to run at in this race. Half and 50 and 1 3/4 and 16. Timeform US had the mile call color-coded blue, meaning it was slow. That was registered in 41 and 2 for a mile. So it's not like they were going guns blazing up front early. Although, to be fair, the horses that were 1, 2, 3 early on, they finished 6th, 7th, and 8th in a field of 8. So do with it what you will. That's an instance where you as the handicapper need to decide just how much sort of the pace affected the ultimate outcome. I don't think it was anything that was crazy. I think it was just a matter of perhaps the horses that were a little bit farther back happened to be the classier in this field. Zulu Alpha, I thought he ran nice. I thought Channel Cat ran really well given how wide he was. Perhaps that's the difference in here. Given that Channel Cat loses by about 3/4 of a length, he's wide down the backside, wide rounding the far turn. He finishes in 11:63. Zulu Alpha finishes in 11:63. This was a case where whoever finished fastest last got the money. Hunter O'Reilly comes home in 11:34. He gets the job done here. You would assume he's going to go up to Saratoga, run a campaign similar to what we saw last year. He's going to be a giant price again in whatever race he shows up in. And while this is a grade 1 and you don't want to take anything away from him or the connections, you can't help but think when you see this field that, Focus Group was here for Chad. Arocha was here for Chad. Or Aroka, however you'd like to pronounce that. These are the C and D strings for Chad. You're going to get up to Saratoga, you're going to have the big boys that come back out. You're going to have the Bricks and Mortars. You're going to have the Robert Bruces. You're going to have horses of that nature that show up. I just feel like the water's going to get a hell of a lot deeper here for these horses coming out of the UN, whether they go to Saratoga, whether they go out to Arlington for the Arlington Million, anything like that. It just feels like Chad has plenty waiting for these horses. But at the end of the day, nice effort from the top 3 horses. And look, bigger picture, he tried. Focus Group, Focus Group probably too far back. He's also that kind of horse where I do wonder, is he better at even longer distances? I believe he won the John's Call last year at Saratoga at 1 mile and 5/8. I know it's a restricted stakes race, but he did well at Woodbine. Maybe you need even longer distances for a horse like Focus Group, who's just more a stayer, I think, than a quickener. And bigger picture, he's going to show up. He'll be honest. Look, fine effort for the 8-year-old. I don't think it was one of his better efforts, but I don't think it was a bad effort either. I think you have no reason to believe that he won't continue on and continue to run solid races, and he'll threaten in some of these every once in a while when things fall in his lap into his favor. But right now, I look at this race and say, Hunter O'Reilly, tip of the cap, you got the job done. Water will get deeper when you get up to Saratoga. I can say the same for the rest of this field. Channel Cat, maybe he's the one you want to take out of here given that wide trip that he encountered. A grade 1 winner is Hunter O'Reilly, 99 Beyer speed figure, 123 pace adjusted Timeform US rating. Now let's throw it into the stakes montage for this past weekend. We'll take a look at some closing weekend stakes races from Santa Anita, as well as the other graded stakes races from Monmouth and one from north of the border up at Woodbine. So let's get into that. The stakes montage. We'll come back with some quick thoughts.
But they turn to the top of the stretch, and Valedictorian takes over. It's Valedictorian to the furlong pole, and Flexibility made to remember charging down the outside with Conquest Hard Candy. Valedictorian and Paco to the 16th pole. They're in front by 4. Inflexibility made to remember My Sister Sledge, all giving chase, but Valedictorian wins the Eatontown with panache, won it by 3.5 in the end. Second, very close, either Inflexibility or Made to Remember. Fourth, Diamond King going to have to re-rally in the final furlong. They're 3 legs clear of Bal Harbor. Running to Love You will taste defeat today. A final furlong left to go. Monongahela and Jose Lascano are pulling away. Monongahela past the 16th pole. Diamond King, Bal Harbor trying to close in late, but Monongahela doing it nicely here in the Island. Monongahela going on to win it by about 3.5, 4 in the end. Bal Harbor got up for second. Third went to Diamond King. Fourth, Zanatti.
2.5 to Sir Sahib is finishing with a real nice rush at them both. And Sir Sahib a chance. 'Tis a Slam digging in. Sir Sahib is starting to inhale them on the outside. Avies Mesa the center. 'Tis a Slam still in front. Sir Sahib on the wrong lead. And 'Tis a Slam gets on. A length 2 in second. Avies Mesa. Sir Sahib weakening on that effort. And 'Tis a Slam gate to wire wins the Singspiel comfortably. Avies Mesa's second.
Side of the white cap, Simply Breathless at the rail, turning for home. And now Ollie's Candy coming through on the inside of Epidemia's Girl. Can she get through there? In the center of the course, Storm the Hill. Here comes Simply Breathless with a big rally. Simply Breathless, Ollie's Candy go on with it. Simply Breathless takes over late, and Simply Breathless wins the Wilshire. Blanket photo for second involved Ollie's Acclimate. Red King is also finishing with some interest. Acclimate hanging tough on the front end, has a 3-length lead. Oscar Dominguez chasing with determination, though. It's Acclimate, Oscar Dominguez. Acclimate keeps going. Oscar Dominguez trying so hard. Acclimate, Oscar Dominguez. Acclimate, wire to wire in the San Juan. Oscar Dominguez was second. Red King third. You gotta want Majestic Eagle turning for home, and Snazzy Dresser running a big race. Law-abiding Citizen trying to come back for more. Sharp Samurai is on the outside, followed by Majestic Eagle. A 16th to go. Snazzy Dresser, Law-abiding Citizen sneaks through on the inside with a good burst, and on the outside, Majestic Eagle. Majestic Eagle gets up.
All right, some quick thoughts on that stakes montage, then we'll get you into the weekend's best buyers. The Eatontown Valedictorian, to me, she might be the most underrated filly in training, turf or dirt. She just shows up and runs her heart out each and every time. I love the versatility that she has. In a race like the Eatontown, she goes up there, presses the pace. If there is no pace in a race, she'll go to the front. Doesn't matter. She'll kick on with it. I think she's very likable, and I think she's one of the more underrated horses in training, not just fillies and mares, just in general. She just shows up and runs her race each and every time. Sometimes good enough, sometimes it's not. The Philip Island, no idea where the race from Monongahela came from. This is a horse that is a sort of habitual minor award winner. I believe going into the race it was 16 times second or third, 11 runner-up finishes, and only 5 wins from nearly 40 starts. I thought it was difficult to make up ground in that race, but you go through and you look at the chart for the day at Monmouth Park, it's not like it was a conveyor belt. There were horses that were making up ground just in that race itself. It didn't seem like there was a hell of a lot of running going on from the back. Monongahela sat just off, went on with it, and terrible with his leads and drifting about, but I mean he still buried the field, and from a numbers standpoint, came back an incredibly fast race. I don't know what you want to do with that. I'm going to continue on with the stance of when Monongahela wins races, I will lose if I'm playing that one. The Singspiel, 'Tis a Slam walked a dog in the front end. You take a look at those fractions. I believe the opening quarter was just under 26 seconds, half mile in like 53, something crazy like that. No pace signed on at all. Fine effort. He likes Woodbine. Don't want to take anything away from him there. He actually won the race. Sir Sahib is the horse that I want coming out of that race, because he's the kind of horse that, when you look at the dynamics, the way the race was run, there was no speed signed on. He is basically last coming around the far turn, and he puts in a giant bid. flattens out understandably down the lane. Those two horses in front of him, they still have something left in the tank given how slow they went. To me, in a race with more pace signed on next time, Sir Sahib is one of those that maybe I'm going to be a little bit interested in. I've already put him in my DRF horse watch. I would suggest you do the same, or consider doing the same anyway. And then we'll wrap up with 3 races out at Santa Anita. The Wilshire, Simply Breathless, she saved ground, tipped out, flew home nicely. I was disappointed in the effort from Ollie's Candy, especially when you consider the way that trip worked out. Rail opens up wide. To me, the old Ollie's Candy kicks on through there and gets the job done. I just thought it was a disappointing effort. She hasn't been the same after this long layoff. Maybe third start off the bench will be the charm. Maybe getting back to Del Mar will be the charm. Right now, though, I'm disappointed in the form she has shown. Also disappointed in the form we've seen from Sharp Samurai in his 2 starts here. He ran in the American 3-horse blanket finish at the end. Majestic Eagle comes fastest of all on the far outside. I just don't think Sharp Samurai is the same horse as he was, because to me the old Sharp Samurai wins that race relatively comfortably given the trip that he had X, Y, and Z, and I don't think he has that same oomph, that same kick, that same finish that he has in years prior. Look, it happens. Father Time catches up to everyone, some a little bit sooner than others. Sharp Samurai, to me, maybe he's another one that at some point will show that he can get back to his best, but right now, I don't know that I'll be betting on it. In the San Juan Capistrano, I spoke about it when we did the stakes preview. It's difficult for me, a lot of guesswork in a 1 3/4 race. This is not something that we run over here. That's long for European races in some instances. So going into it, we'll take a shot, see what happens. Coming out of it, I rarely am impressed with anything because, again, it's just such an anomaly. I thought Acclimate ran really, really well. The fractions, I don't know if they were entirely accurate. I know they're starting going down the hill, but, 46 and change for a half mile going 1 3/4, it seems a little bit far-fetched. But I love the way that this horse moved. When there was a little bit of heat going into that far turn, he still had something left in the tank. He kicked away, opened up a little bit, and that was the difference because he prevailed by about 3/4 of a length. I thought he set legitimate fractions, whether you believe the clock at face value or not, and he still had something left. That was an impressive effort to me, and it makes me wonder, at 1 3/4, fine. I think he could still be effective at 1.5 miles. Now, the water will get deeper because you'll get better quality at a 1.5 mile race. But I'm not totally, I wouldn't sell this horse short. That to me was a very impressive effort and one that potentially could be a sign of things to come. Maybe Acclimate's one you want to keep an eye on in those sort of longer races out in Southern California, whether it's at Del Mar or when they go back to Santa Anita in the fall. That's my takeaway from the San Juan Capistrano, as well as the rest of these races here in the Stakes Montage. Let's go into the weekend's best as far as buyers are concerned. On the recap edition, we'll take them right in order. The 3-year-old males, Owendale, a 99 in the Ohio Derby. 3-year-old fillies, Message, a 94 in a maiden special weight out at Santa Anita. 3-year-old males on grass, Halliday, 87 in a maiden special weight at Belmont Park. 3-year-old fillies on turf, Blowout, a 92 winning the Wild Applause at Belmont Park. Older males, Monongahela, that 102 in the Island at Monmouth. Again, I don't mean this in a sort of a demeaning way to the connections. Look, great job. You got the horse. He's that kind of horse from a gambling standpoint. I want to be betting against him every time because I just don't trust him. He earns a 102 winning the Island down at Monmouth Park. Older fillies and mares on dirt. Springsteen, Divine Queen, Boxwood. They all earn 87 buyers. One in a stakes race at Canterbury, the other 2 in an optional claimer at Churchill Downs. Older males on grass, Eddie Haskell and the Siren Lure. That wasn't part of the stakes montage, but boy, you want to talk about a horse that's just crack at 5/8. 100 buyer speed figure for him. Older fillies and mares on grass, Simply Breathless, a 95, winning the Wilshire out at Santa Anita. There you have it, the weekend's best as far as buyer speed figure performances are concerned on the recap edition. However you've been listening, thank you for doing so. YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, video.drf.com, as well as Spotify. Please rate, review, and subscribe. If you're over on YouTube, make sure the bell icon is lit up so you get everything that DRFTV has to offer. Questions, comments, concerns, either beneath the video player on YouTube or directly to me on Twitter, at Bernier_Matt. And again, I will stress that please send anything and everything my way. I will pull everything together and put something out there for the preview pod on Thursday. You'll see a lot of me this week if you are a fan of our stakes previews or out of the gate, because I'll be doing all the stakes previews and I will be the only one. Well, I shouldn't say the only one. We'll have our usual contributors on out of the gate, but we won't have the boys in studio. So I'm going to get a lot of me over the next week leading into the following week. So and then July 4th week's going to be a little bit interesting. peel back the layers a little bit. The Racing Forms offices are moving down in their building in New York City. So there's a lot of movement going on. I look, maybe I'll be wrong, but I believe the plan right now is there will be no out of the gate around 4th of July. I know most of you will be at the beach or whatever it may be, but we'll have stakes previews for you, though, leading into Stars and Stripes at Belmont Park and things of that nature. So you're going to want to keep an eye on everything that DRFTV has to offer this week, well, as always, but especially leading into next week because the schedule is going to be a little bit out of whack. As always, thank you for listening. Best of luck. I'll be back with the preview pod on Thursday. I want all your thoughts, questions, comments, whatever else it may be. Let me know. Until then, best of luck however you play, whatever you play, and wherever you play. It's been the recap edition of the Matt Bernier Show.